Wow, it's time for another show full of tips and ideas from the sales growth leadership expert, Dean Akers. Known for his experience in hyper-growing companies and creating cultures for high-performance teams, here's Dean.
Well, welcome to your Sales and Leadership Ninja show. I'm your head ninja, Dean Akers, and every week I bring you a rant to stimulate your thinking in the realms of sales and or leadership. Today's show is titled Quit Puking. So, you're in sales. I can't help but share in the sales loss epidemic that I witness almost on a daily basis. I can only assume that this sales disease is being transmitted by people who've been in sales for a long time or actually being taught by sales managers that have had the disease their whole life. So what is this epidemic? The epidemic I'm talking about in sales is puking the presentation on the customer. I've witnessed it on several occasions this past week, which prompted today's rant. We're currently remodeling our house and we're looking at putting new air conditioning and some other stuff in the house. And so I've reached out to some companies and they've sent their sales team or person out to meet me. And in this case, they're selling air conditioners for our new home. And so what are the classic signs that help you know that they're infected with the puking disease? So when these people come out, it's almost instantaneous that I know that they're infected with this puking disease. It all starts when they sit down with me and they say they're going to tell me what they can do for me. The minute they tell me that they're going to tell me what they can do for me as their first line of statements, I know it's going to be trouble, or not trouble for me, but they're going to be puking all over me. So this week, I had people coming out and they would sit down and they say, "Do you have an hour?" And I go, "Yeah." And they sit down and now they start puking all about their air conditioning. They have their brochures. They're going through each page of the brochure, showing me the condenser units, and they're showing me the power packs and all the different stuff. Now, what do I really want? Do I want a condenser unit? Do I want a power pack? Or do I want air conditioning? Do I want air conditioning, or do I want just a house that's comfortable and cool, which, oh, by the way, air conditioning does? So these guys are puking all over me. And by the way, if it had been one guy, I'd have said, "Oh, he's just an outlier." But every single person that came out puked on me. And it was just driving me crazy. So I would ask questions like, "How long you been in the business?" All of them are veterans. And, and they've jumped from company to company, and it's competitive and it's tough and blah, 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 blah. And the funniest one was the customer, or the one guy that was puking all over me. And then he goes, "I got to tell you right now, I am going to be the highest price." And then again, he goes, "This is why we're worth it." And he opened his brochure with a picture of his 3 trucks or his 10 trucks, I don't remember. And then went off on another puking rampage. I got to tell you, I was flat worn out after a day of being puked on. So, if I'm diagnosing this disease, it's really, for me, when I'm working with my ninjas and I'm diagnosing it, what we do to diagnose is record our sales calls. I'm talking about, we wear recorder pins. I've showed them in the past. I've got them here. I think, here's one of my recorder pins. And we'll wear them and we'll just record our sales call. And then what we'll do is we'll transpose it and look at it and see where the questions are and the statements. When we do that, 100% of the time when we do this exercise, we see / they see, I don't even have to say anything, the train wreck before the crash site. They see what went wrong and why that sale was never going to close. It's even more comical than that. They would never even buy from themselves, yet they're taught to puke all over the customer. So when you master this art of the question and learning how to shut up, you will become a bigger asset, A, for your customers, B, for your company, and C, selfishly for yourself financially. As you become a more and more successful salesperson, your life will change. You'll never work another day in your life because you'll have so much fun, you'll close so much business, you'll be a high income earner, and your company will do whatever they can to keep you happy, and you're just going to have an all-around win. And oh, by the way, you didn't hear me mention earlier anything about knowing product or anything about that, because you really don't. You need to understand engagement and the customer, because you know your product will solve what you're there for. You're not selling air conditioning and then saying to yourself, oh, I ask a bunch of questions, and oh, by the way, they really don't need air conditioning. They need a fighter jet. No, you're going to find out, and the customer's going to get there. So when you learn to master the art of the question and the art of shutting up, so when you ask the question, you just shut up. Let them answer. Don't prompt them. Let them answer. And when they answer, follow on with another question. And when I say that, their answers are going to, as you get great at this, you're going to see that this is not an exercise you have to study or practice. You're going to be so engaging that the questions will come naturally, because they're just logical questions to ask, especially if you know what you're doing with your products and how it's going to help the customer, and the customer knows you're there to solve his problem. But I got to tell you my favorite question. My favorite question as we go through stuff and we ask all those questions at the end, and they say, can I get a price? I give them a price, and they say, wow. And I go, can I ask you one more question? And they go, yeah. This question has been the ultimate closing question for me in my career. Is I go, if all the prices were the same today, would you choose me? And then I shut up. If all the prices were the same today, would you choose me? And then I shut up. I'm not going to use the word I use with my ninjas, but I shut the F up. And if they say yes, which in most cases they do, because I've gone through the process of asking all the open-ended and closed-end questions and ultimately getting there after I gave my price. If they say yes, I ask them why. And then that's where they go, well, we searched you and you have 5 stars, or I like your carrier unit. I've always had carrier all my life and I love them. Whatever the reason are, it doesn't really matter. Because what they're doing when they say yes and you ask them why, what they're doing for themselves and you is they're validating their decision to use you. They're validating the decision to use you. If they say no, then you want to ask who and why. And then they're going to open up. They're going to go, well, I want to use carrier because I've always had carrier growing up, blah, 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 blah. You don't need to defend yourself. Be vulnerable. And maybe even the following question is, something with the carrier. But what happens is you don't want to defend yourself. I've actually had customers say, I'm going to use XYZ because of blah, blah, blah. And after they tell me all the reasons, I go, well, I can only share with you that I would love to do your business. And if there's ever a chance, would you let me come in and help you? And now I know what you're looking for. If I'm able to deliver what you're looking for that you just shared, and they, for instance, let's pretend they didn't want to do your business, would you use me? And I shut up. 80% of the time the customer goes, you know what, you're right. Let's do a deal. I've actually closed deals with my competitors sitting in a lobby still waiting to present. And I walked out with a contract in my briefcase by the process I just shared with you. So, when you master the art of asking the questions and, quote, shutting up, you'll see your success go up exponentially, and competition will never matter. Again, thanks for tuning in each week, and remember to share if this helps you, And my book, Self-Talk, Think Like a Child, is always available on Amazon. And by the way, here's my customer puke protector. I didn't show it to you, but if you want one of my customer puke protectors, which is a poncho, our ninjas carry these because they laugh because it says Customer Presentation Clothes Protector. This is being provided to you by a non-three-circle sales professional to ensure your safety while we puke our presentation all over you. This is a funny thing. It's a joke. We laugh. We give our ninjas have them, and they carry them to remind them to quit puking. And if you can see it, it's Customer Clothes Protector. It's nothing more than a poncho. And it has the "Don't Puke on them" symbol. So if you want one of those, just reach out to me at dean@deanacres.com. I'll throw one in the mail to you. I'm always happy for my listeners that reach out every week. And big shout out to the ones overseas because I've gotten some really cool feedback from y'all. And I'll always hear for you anytime. So just, again, if you need something, you got a specific question, or you need something you just bumming you out, hit me up at dean@deanacres.com, and I will definitely help you. And remember, ask the open-ended question, and at the end of the day, shut up. Talk to you later.
We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Subscribe today to our podcast and send questions or thoughts to help@deanacres.com. Also, visit us at www.deanacres.com to listen to prior shows and view helpful videos. Also, great tips to download. Thanks again. See you next week.